Hey guys, quick project review here for Junction Square. So this is a project I really like because it's a boutique and I love boutique. So let's get right into this. To get your bearings here, here's High Park. We're going to head up Parkside till it turns to Keele. And then we get obviously to the Junction Triangle. We get right to the heart of it at Dundas and Keele Street, and right at 410 Keele, this pink building here is the future home of Junction Square by Block Developments. So it's a 5-story building, 65 units, beautiful red brick facade, but we'll get into the design shortly. So it's right here, kind of in the heart of the Junction. I like this one for value purposes. It's not cheap, obviously, because it's a boutique and you can't build boutique cheap, but it's just the nature of the game. So this is it here. Like I said, 65 units, 5 stories, beautiful red brick facade, really nice looking building. Transit-wise, obviously, you are 8 minutes from the future Lansdowne GO station, but you're also near Keele Station, Dundas West Station, and you've got the Bloor GO station to the south of you. Here's the location. I'm not going to talk about the neighborhood too much because I want this video to be relatively quick and concise. But I mean, if you're not familiar with the Junction, it's worth visiting. One of my favorite neighborhoods on the West End. In terms of freehold in the area, it's not the most expensive neighborhood in the city, but it isn't cheap either. So the average sold price in the neighborhood's hovering around the 1.6 mark for freehold, and you've got the highest sale recently at 2.9. Here's another rendering of the facade. Like I said, really nice looking building. You've got a decent amount of amenities for a 65 unit building. Thank God no pool, because that would run your maintenance fees up like nobody's business. You've got your fitness center. You've got a party room, and my personal favorite, you've got a rooftop terrace for shared use and outdoor barbecues, that kind of thing. Interior wise, the finishes are good. Solid 8 out of 10 here. You can see the kitchen finish to the right. Lots of galley style kitchens. There are a couple of not ideal floor plans in the building, but there's a couple of really, really nice floor plans. So I don't think I put the bathroom in here. Interesting to note, near this building, you have the Duke Condos, which is actually really similar because it's a boutique building as well. Unfortunately, it's not on the model. I don't know why City of Toronto didn't update it, but if you come down here just at 530 Indian Grove, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll pull it up for you. So like I said, you have right up here, you have the site of Junction Square, and then you have 530 Indian Grove here, which is a boutique building that's 3 or 4 years old now, right here. Very similar in finish, very similar in location, obviously just around the corner from each other. And if you look at how pre-construction investors did there, they did really well. So here's a unit that was purchased back in 2014, pre-construction, 843 square feet. They paid $551,000 for it. And then it just recently sold in 2021. Mid last year, it sold for $1 million. So just shy of $1,200 a square foot. So you're looking at 8.9% appreciation year over year, which is pretty good. So, and it is worth noting, like as a boutique, guys, obviously, look, there's not a lot of boutique product coming to market in the city. It is expensive to build. Like I said, it usually has to be ultra luxury to make the numbers work. But if you look at the worst point of COVID, so obviously now condo prices are higher than they've ever been, but there was a point where they dipped during COVID. And if you look at how condos fared based on height, you'll notice that the under 10 stories and the 10 to 20, so basically mid-rise and low-rise buildings did okay. They didn't see appreciation through COVID, but they didn't see a correction either. Whereas high-rise buildings were more likely to see a correction. Now there were some high-rise buildings that didn't, but across the board, you were looking at high-rise buildings 40 stories and up saw a 7% correction at the worst of it. Some buildings that are heavily investor focused saw even worse, because obviously when a correction comes, investors are the first people to sell off. High-rise buildings with small unit sizes tend to have a higher proportion of investors, and so those are the buildings where you see most correction. Whereas low-rise boutique buildings in areas where there's lots of downsizers, in areas where there's lots of people who want to live in condos, those condos don't correct as aggressively because, well, if your building's 80% end users, your turnover is not going to change because the market corrects. So that's worth noting. In terms of prices, we have starting prices for studios in the mid 600s, 1 beds in the low 700s. 2 beds are going to start in the low 900s. 3 beds and up are going to start in the 1 million range. They are offering free assignment, capped development levies, and a really extended deposit structure. So they've broken down the deposit structure here into 2.5% installments over 720 days with a balance of 5% due on occupancy. Scheduled occupancy is January of 2024. Your maintenance fees are 72 cents per square foot. And parking is not cheap. So parking's $86,000, knocked down from $95 for the platinum release. And they do offer EV parking, which is nice to see because so many developments don't offer it, and it costs, 8, 10, 12K to upgrade your spot if you can get your condo board to approve it to an EV. And I just think, obviously, with EV becoming more and more prevalent, like, it's going to be worth it to have one of those spaces in the long run. And on the note of this, guys, condos are, they're running right now. So there's very little inventory. I've never seen this many buyers in the market for condos. It's pretty incredible. We're seeing multiple offers on pretty much anything that's nice. Here's a unit in Humber Bay, 483 square foot, 1 bedroom. Technically it's listed as a 1 and den, but this is the den here. It's just basically a closet without doors. This one sold for $690,000, so $1,428 per square foot in Humber Bay. This one doesn't have much of a lake view. It faces south, and in Humber Bay, east is actually your lake view, believe it or not, because the bay curves around. Here's one in North York. This is a 1 and den in North York, 712 square feet, that just sold one day on market for $940,000. So almost $1 million 1 and den in North York, over $1,300 a foot. And finally here, probably my favorite comp of recent. I'll probably do a separate video just on some of these comparables because some of the units I'm seeing recently are just shattering per square foot records. But here's one at Yonge and Rich. It's actually just a little bit east of Yonge and Richmond. It's a brand new building, great building by Great Gulf, but it does border on Moss Park, right? This unit was asking $999 and it sold for $1.23 million. So it sold for over $1,550 per square foot, which is about the same price you'll pay for pre-construction in that neighborhood. So yeah, the resale condo market is absolutely running. Worksheets, obviously, look, guys, it's a 65 unit building, so it's going to be oversubscribed massively. But if you want to get a unit, reach out to me as soon as possible. We'll get a worksheet in with the builder, and we'll get you sorted. If you want to book a call with me to talk pre-construction in general, talk about other projects, talk about buying a resale condo or just investment real estate in general, you can do that at precondo.ca/call. And I will see you guys next video.